Let's see. I've got questions of how should the CFO model the cost. This is interesting. We're going to spend some time on this one. Questions should boards be asking before improving investment in AI workforce? We'll get into a little bit of the accountability. What sort of information are they going to want to know? And then ROI timeline, realistic for AI-powered workloads, revenue orchestration. Should we see dollars right away, or is it going to take a little bit of time to let it to mature and grow? Drew Laxton, I have, is your last name. Is that correct? Did I say that right?
You said it right. Yeah.
Awesome. I don't know how else I would have said it if I wanted to try to. That's all right. What's your brother's name? Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. What's your brother's name?
My brother?
Your brother, yeah.
Yeah, David Laxton.
So you got the better name. Got it. just checking. I just wanted to make sure, Awesome. All right. Well, imagine in your head there's walk-on music from your many choices on Spotify. I think later I may have to get a copy of that list just because you can learn a lot about people by what their walk-on song is.
Sure. Yep.
All right. Here we go. This is Hiring AI Agents and the Rise of Revenue Orchestration, a series from Outreach and GeekWire Studios. I'm going to start that again. This is Hiring AI Agents and the Rise of Revenue Orchestration, a series from Outreach and GeekWire Studios exploring how AI agents are becoming full members of the revenue team and how AI-powered revenue orchestration is reshaping sales, marketing, partnerships, and finance. I'm your host, Brian Westbrook with GeekWire Studios, joined now by the CFO of Outreach. This is Drew Laxton. Drew, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I want to talk about how a CFO should really think about AI, how you should pull it apart into numbers and spreadsheets, nuts and bolts. How do you model the cost of an AI agent when you compare to the more traditional new hire?
Yeah, the hard part about AI agents versus a new hire is the unit of measure for an AI agent is a task, not headcount. And so there was some great McKinsey or study that's, AI agents can do 0.4% or like 0.4 of the job of an accountant or something like that. It's like, well, that doesn't mean I can have less accountants. It means that the work they do gets better and improves and they can do more high value work. And, we think about the same thing when we talk about how to analyze the cost of AI agents. It's not that you're reducing staff, it's that they're focused on the work that is higher value, and we're able to automate the work that they don't necessarily want to do. So if we think about as it works for revenue orchestration, email prospecting, it's not something that AEs wake up in the morning super excited to go do, but we can do that and we can automate it. We can automate the replies, and all the work isn't just form letters, and all we've got to do is outperform somebody who doesn't particularly want to do that task. Like, the AI is that good. We can update fields in Salesforce. We can do a lot of work there. So as I think about the cost, it's not necessarily that I was debating between hiring an SDR and having an AI agent do the work. It's more, can I get more out of my SDR team or more out of my AE team, which frankly, that's what we're all dealing with right now. I need more productivity without adding a whole lot of costs, and that's something that Outreach can really provide. Honestly, this is
so. Do we feel
Outreach, but it's great. Yeah.
Sorry, there. Do we feel like this is not a fair apples to apples comparison? Then, if you take an AI agent versus a new hire, they're doing different work, so you really can't compare the cost across the two.
Right now, it is hard to compare the cost. I think there are probably spots where it makes a lot more sense. I think support has proven out right now that you can handle a big chunk of the tier 1 support asks with AI. But otherwise, I haven't seen it yet where it's perfectly one-to-one. I think we're headed that direction where you're doing more workflow admin that AI is doing. And frankly, that's on the roadmap for Outreach, is how do we continue to automate more things. But if you think about a sales process, it's a process. And it's not one size fits all at any company. And so automating the whole process agentically isn't happening overnight, but there are big chunks of the process that we can automate.
It sounds like a lot of this really is shifting the way businesses work and how enterprises even think. And a big part of that is board approval and getting the executive leadership team, but then even beyond that, getting the BOD on board to say, this is an investment we should approve and a direction we should head in strategically as an organization. What questions should these boards be asking the experts in the room, the leaders that are saying, we want to invest in an AI workforce before going down that path, before giving it a green light?
I had a person who's much smarter than me say this to me, and it's resonated so well, is if you're not answering the questions of, does this provide ROI and how is this secure, you're doing it wrong. And I think that's a perfect way to think about it, right? Because we all worry about security with AI. I mean, we've heard about some of the frontier models jumping through sandboxes, but we think about that very seriously, and we have the advantage of a platform that helps us with that. But the ROI, the nice thing about sales is it's so measurable, and we can just in product provide the ROI. We can show that on your average token, how much pipeline, how many deals you're producing more than your baseline before you were using these agents. So it's huge value. And that is the question that's coming out of boards. It's amazing. I've never seen a shift so fast in my career where 2 quarters ago, everybody was saying, how many tokens are you using? Let's see you maximizing your token usage, to what return am I getting off of this token usage, which, thank you, the CFOs were all asking that from the get-go. And it's nice to sit in an industry that we can prove that out and we can really show how this return works. It makes my job easier. I end up on calls all the time with our customer CFOs trying to explain how I use outreach and how I think about it, how our teams think about it. And again, I mean, it's just showing that ROI story.
Well, what timeline is realistic for an AI-powered revenue orchestration? Like, what should we be thinking of? Is it overnight? Is it years, months, weeks? How do we think about, and candidly, how do we measure that?
Yeah, so the stuff that's a little harder to measure, but it's just like providing somebody a little bit better life. We update your Salesforce fields coming straight out of a call on what happened in that call and what should that's a little hard to measure the ROI on, but I promise you the average AE really likes that. When you think about how we measure the impact, if you have a high velocity sales organization, we can show the impact very rapidly, right? Because we're producing pipeline, we're having that pipeline move through the funnel much faster and getting to close one deal. So you can measure it over that time period. We generally work in months. That's our pilots are generally a month-ish type of, as we can start to show real returns on that. But if you have longer sales cycles, it will take longer. I mean, that's we are a little bit beholden to the customers that we're operating with.
How do you feel like, 2 questions. One, how do you feel like when this has been realized ROI? And B, where have you seen a faster investment? Is it a particular area, a particular focus, a particular cost spend? Like, what gives us the best ROI fastest? Bang for the buck, let's talk.
Yeah, totally. So it's when there's a specific project that we can go after. So we had a customer who wanted to look at leads that went cold on them and reviving those leads and getting out to them very quickly. And we could just automate that process because these weren't being worked by any human. So it was very easy for us to work them in the background with our agents. And that showed a lot of return very rapidly because, again, it went from 0 to something and everybody's light bulbs went off of, oh, this can be going in the background working on something that was a low priority to everybody else, but we're doing it agentically and producing leads on it. So that's our fast ROI, and that's the things we try to look for. Because when customers have those light bulb moments, what I see sitting in my seat is consumption jumps. They realize, I've got a nail, I've got a hammer, and I'm looking for nails now. How do I
Yeah.
go stamp that out everywhere? Then their comfort level starts to grow, and that's when people settle in. There's the obvious anxiety that everybody has around tokens. Like, am I going to
Yeah.
go over my usage? Am I going to go into an overage? Which are honestly probably overplayed, but I have those fears myself sitting in my own seat. Not, obviously we use our own product, but that's just in our cogs. But for other things, we use Claude, and I worry about us
Yeah.
going into overages. We have all the systems and triggers in place to be able to watch that really carefully. And as people or customers get comfortable, you really see that start to take off and again, provide ROI, which is what we're here to do for our customers.
And do you think that tokenization and monitoring the tokens is a fool's errand, or is it wise to be cognizant of your cost and your spend there with the idea that it plays into ROI?
Yeah, I mean, more the latter, honestly. I do think monitoring and understanding what am I getting in return for my spend is valuable. I mean,
Mhm.
I ask that about literally everything that we do, and it's not unreasonable for people to ask that of our own products. Again, this is where, because we operate in the go-to-market sphere, it's a little more measurable. It's a little bit easier for us to immediately show that what we're doing is providing real value to your
Mhm.
AE team. But I think probably not being obsessed with it on the front end. I think there's a little bit too much of that, and I think more of getting in and understanding the value it can provide, because again, we're all being asked to do more with less, and if we can go bridge that gap, then there's real value in that, and I'm willing to pay for value.
And that's really what it's all about, is paying for something that brings bigger returns, bigger value, bigger return to our shareholders and stakeholders. What final thoughts would you leave the audience with when it comes to thinking about the cost, thinking about the ROI, measuring it, and really selling that story to those that maybe don't understand or don't believe it, or haven't realized, haven't had that light bulb moment yet?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of an experimentation period that everybody needs to go through, because it does require you rethinking process in general.
Hmm.
But it's for the betterment of the company. It's funny how if you go and try to find opportunities for AI use cases, the first thing you're going to find is an operating practice that doesn't make sense. And then you're going to go apply an AI agent to the updated process. And it's like, don't be afraid of that problem. You need to go solve both problems at the exact same time, because that's how we're all going to move forward. We get stuck in our rut of the everyday business, and the reality is one of your competitors is going to adopt this. If you don't evolve, you're going to get left behind, because again, we're all trying to do more with less, and if a competitor can do that, and I live in this fear of myself, I, they're going to. And if you can just keep pushing resources to the most high value things, most high value activities, you're going to do that, and you're going to get ahead, and you're going to continue to double down on that lead. And so I think that if you're not pushing teams to go understand what is available out there and how it can potentially evolve a process or improve the company, you're doing a disservice to the company as a whole.
And take that investment and put it into the areas where you get the most revenue out of it.
Absolutely.
AI certainly doesn't change some of the microeconomics of running a business, but it certainly gives us more things to think about. You've given us a lot to think about. I want to thank Drew Laxton, CFO of Outreach, for joining us today. Drew, thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian.
I'm Brian Westbrook with the GeekWire Studios. Thanks for watching. All right. And then we're going to wait for that upload. So don't go